Hey, what's up? Ryan here with today's tip for how to use AI and how to use it with power. And this is really, at the end of the day, the core goal if you're going to use AI as your sidekick is that you want it to sound like you. And there's a bunch of different parts that go into sounding with you or like you, but let's go with the primary one, and that is the tone of voice. A lot has been said, and you'll see it in prompts where it says, write this blog post and use a witty or conversational or inspirational or professional tone of voice. And that is the bare minimum. That it will not make it sound like you. If you've listened to any of my videos, and I have put out over the last 15 years, thousands of hours of video content, webinar content, speaking on stage, that's a whole lot of talking. And if you actually spend some time to look through that, you probably wouldn't be able to recreate it by just saying that I'm witty and educational. That's two words. And so when we think about saying, hey, we want AI to talk like us, we're going to have to give it substantially more of us to get it to talk like us. And sitting around thinking up what are all the words and how do I want to say and all that kind of stuff is actually a really hard way to do it. There's a much better way. And it's really, honestly, like a 3 or 4 step process. So you ready? I'm going to give it to you. This right here, golden information. Step number 1. Tell AI that that's what you want to do. Say, hey, I want to be able to train you to talk the way I talk or to write the way I talk. But use the word talk, not write, because if you really want content that sounds like you, it needs to sound like you talking. That is the best way to convey your sincerity, your message, your authenticity, is to get it to write the way you talk. So that's step number 1. Hey, ChatGPT, I want you to be able to write the way I talk. And so tell me what you need to know in order to do that. Now, what it's going to do is it's going to give you a whole list of questions. And I would add to it a subject matter. So for me, it's like, hey, I want you to be able to write the way I talk when it comes to employer branding, when it comes to getting a better job, when it comes to ChatGPT at work, right? I give it a subject as well. And this kind of moves us into the important thing. It isn't just the words I use, it's also the phrases and terminology I use, and those have to do with what I'm talking or writing about. And so if I give it that initial prompt to say, hey, what would you need to know? What questions could I answer to help you be able to write the way I talk when it comes to this given subject? Now, it's going to give you a bunch of stuff. You could also phrase it by saying, to give you my thoughts on, my ideas on, etc. Now, when it gives you that back, we're going to come to step 2, and that is you got to record this. Do not try to type it. Go grab otter.ai. Again, you can get it https://go.refer.io/otter or /otter.ai. Now, go and download that, hit record, and record yourself talking through all the answers to the questions that it just gave you. Give yourself to that by spending, and it doesn't take a ton of time, 5-10 minutes. Now, if you do webinars, if you do speeches, anything like that, that's way easier because I can just go grab it. For me, it's very easy to get ChatGPT to write the way I talk because I just go grab some YouTube videos on a given subject, feed it into it and say, okay, now this is the answers. And now I give it my final prompt. Hey, can you analyze this and create a comprehensive voice style guide? Not just tone of voice, but everything, right? The phraseology, the sentence structure, the punctuation, the way that I pause, the way that I flow, the questions I ask, right? Now, I might still have to massage it, but that right there gives you this like 3 to 4 page document. That document is the secret to getting ChatGPT to write the way you talk. And this by far, man, this one tip is gold. It is worth an insane amount of value because if you can get ChatGPT to write the way you talk, then everything else gets way easier because now when I give it a little bit more of me on a given subject, it's going to use that to expand out on the way I would go about doing it. And so this is rule number 12. I've given you 12, and I can tell you this one is just golden. If you go and implement each of those things, you will be a freaking powerhouse at generative AI. I can promise you that. I can't promise you that you're going to be a powerhouse on day 1. I can promise you if you take those 12 things plus the other training I put out and practice, you will get better and better and better at this. And that at the end of the day should be your goal. My goal is not to be good enough. It's not to be, hey, great at it. It's to get better and better and better over time, because AI is always changing and the business world is going to change and evolve with it. And so I need to constantly get 1% better each day, 10% better each day at what I'm doing. And so these 12 rules, they're going to help you do that. So thanks so much for watching. Now, to pay me back, go down and subscribe. Number one. Number two, give me a content. Tell me what you, or comment. Tell me what you think. Tell me what your questions are. Tell me what you'd like to learn next. Share it with a friend. Like, pass this stuff out. I would love to have more of your friends and professional acquaintances and employees and coworkers, you name it, follow along. And so share away. Otherwise, we'll talk to you again soon.